What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. We are back. I am back from a cheeky little week in Egypt, and the Blades are back. How about that? Well, what's that? Not sure if that's picking it up, but that is the Great Escape theme tune because that's it. The Great Escape is on, isn't it? Loads to talk about, and I know we're a lot later than usual because obviously I haven't been in the country, but I managed to get myself a stream. I managed to see that performance. I also saw a little bit of there's no other way to put it, the negativity online to the starting lineup. And I jokingly put in the Platinum Ramblers group that I could hear the tweets being deleted as the result came in because everybody, and listen, understandably so, it didn't look like a great lineup. But I said beforehand that I quite liked it. And this is all leading me back to the same point that I think is worth discussing tonight, because this is something I've been saying for a while, and I don't want people to think that it's reactionary after one result. Ben Brereton Diaz. Now, we can discuss where he was, because I think that's worth discussion as well if people want to talk about that. Injured for the game. Very good player. I don't think he's a great player. He's a very good player and certainly one of our best players at the moment. I think we are a better team without Ben Brereton Diaz in it. We are a 3-5-2 team. There's debate throughout the fan base about this, and none more so evident in our WhatsApp group that some people think we need to stick to a 4 at the back now and progress through and try and have those 3 in the middle but that forces you to have Ben Brereton Diaz and McAtee and then one up top, which doesn't prove effective. When we played our 3-5-1-1, if you like, with McAtee just off Archer, round pegs, round holes. And look, it's still, we weren't great, particularly in the first half. But my dad didn't manage to get a stream, and he were ironically in Egypt at the same time, in the same place we were a little bit apart, separate holidays. At 39, I'm not going on holiday with my dad anymore. But he were like, "How did we play?" And my reflection of the game was that we were second best in first half in a lot of ways, without being really under a lot of pressure. And as the game went on, we seemed to grow in confidence. And if we can start to ride that moment, I joked about it afterwards. Yeah, but if, because that was the video I put out before. That was my match preview. Yeah, but if we can get some at Luton, we are still 8 points away from safety, realistically, with the goal difference. Obviously, there's point deductions to take into consideration, potential point deductions to take into consideration. I think our survival hopes now hang on. Well, if we can get a result against Brighton at home on Sunday, that is completely against what's expected, then we can start to believe. We've closed the gap to around 5 points, potentially, depending on other results, obviously. And we've still got Forest at home to play, which will be an unbelievable game. We've got Burnley to come. There's some really tasty fixtures. Away at Bournemouth will be a barnstorming game. Their form's dropped a little bit. I think if we stick to what we know as a club, and I get we've had to buy the best players that were available, and Ben Brereton Diaz, again, I'll reiterate, is one of the better players in our squad, no doubt about it. But the way he plays forces us to play outside of our regular position. So our regular formation, sorry. So for me, he doesn't fit. And I think me and my dad mentioned it on our deadline day stream. No issues with him as a player. He improves us when he's in the 11 from an individual standpoint. But as a team, Cameron Archer looked so much better. The team looked so much better. And talk to me about Vinny Souza. What a performance. That was he's been hot and cold, I think, a lot this season. I think there's been some really unfair criticism of him. But then at times it looked like a bit of an headless chicken and lost in that midfield. I thought it was an absolutely outstanding performance from Vinny Souza. And without him in the side, I'm not sure we win that game. And I'm not saying he was the absolute difference, because I thought everybody played really well. Ben Osborne, honourable mention. But yeah, really, really good. And to win, and I'm happy to discuss all those points. When I sort of started off joking about, people were hammering the lineup, and when I said I quite like the team, I got some stick as well, which is par for the course. The best way to handle that now, for me, I think, is not to say, you were wrong, I were right, we were right, whoever else said that 3-5-2 were the best. It's, isn't it great that we got to win? That's all it needs to be. It's not blades against blades. This is all part of bringing the fan base back together again. And one result does not make a season. But if you are going to go out and turn over one of the hardest working teams in the division in Luton Town, because they have to be, because they're like us, they haven't got the quality to survive. They're trying to outwork teams. And we did a job on them. We did a real job on them. And it's delightful. It's absolutely delightful. So I'm going to get into your calls and your comments in a minute. This is 90 after 90. Just so everybody understands the concept, we've been going long on some streams recently because I can't get through all the comments. I can't get through all the calls, and it's brilliant. And I thank you all for your contributions. So we are now, it's not 90 minutes after the game, although we'll go close to that as we can. It's just I've got to get back from the games, particularly when I've been to the home games, because traveling through it, match day traffic. We're going to go for 90 minutes or up to 90 minutes. I'm giving myself that out. Up to 90 minutes after the game to discuss and have time to discuss all your thoughts and your opinions on it. I've taken some feedback like I always want to do, not just from our Ramblers, but from everybody that watches the streams and joins in. Some people don't want just phone-ins, and there won't be just phone-ins. We'll be doing other things in between. I like to try new things, but I also don't want to come away too much from content that people like. It's just there is clearly a demand for this sort of forum format, however you want to describe it. So we're going to give it a go. And I'm excited to see where we can go with it. I'm also keen. I had another point that I wanted to mention, and this is, again, typical Ramble, isn't it, when we've no notes written down. But as I say, I don't want you to think we're coming too far away from what works, really. But that were it. The fact that I'm missing some comments now that we're doing phone-ins, I'm going to make a conscious effort to try and catch some of your comments. We've got several callers waiting, which I'm very appreciative of. But I'm just going to jump in and get some early comments just because I've not been able to get to them recently. So Danny says, I'm surprised that you were getting a result against Luton. All we can do is plan and pick up as much points as we can. Play and pick up as much points as we can. I think to stay up, it'll be down to what happens to Everton and Forest at the end of the season. I'll take anything we can get, Danny boy. We've got to keep going and get as close to fourth from bottom now to the end of the season. This formation worked wonders. We looked solid and compact at the back and had that flair going forward. It looked balanced, which is what we've been talking about. We've been crying out for balance. Well said, Danny. And all this because we brought Robbo back. Never thought I'd see it happen. We need Robbo. Guess we were desperate, Jimmy. Up the Ramble, up the blades. Top man, top man. Charlie says, hi, Jimmy, not sure. But is Sousa the first Brazilian to score in the Premier League for the Blades? Up the Ramble, up the Blades. I would say probably yes. I can't remember another Brazilian in a Blades shirt. I mean, I'm rubbish at knowledge like that, to be honest. If you told me a name, I'd probably remember it, but I don't think somebody will be able to point that out to me. Welcome back, Jimmy. Great win. It's back on. Sure is, pal. Sure is. Don't forget all to like and subscribe. Thank you, mate. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Evening, Gaz. Evening all. Great win at the weekend. Very likely to come to the game on Sunday. Brilliant. Hope to see you all in Triple Point. We will all be in Triple Point before the game. As per every home game we are there. It is our pre-match watering hole. This video is, of course, sponsored. Thank you for the little nudge of a reminder, Gaz. This video is sponsored by Action Coach Sheffield and VMB Autos. So thank you again to them for their support. David Vinter thought Osborne was great. Gave us that energy in midfield. I completely agree. Glad for Archer after that miss. Oh, no, I were getting some stick. They were just, I could feel them all. I could feel in chat they were all about to go for Jimmy, what's happening? What's happening? And then thank God, about a minute later, he goes and redeems himself. Absolutely brilliant. I was there, says Dan's Vest. Art just scored and I dislocated my kneecap. Literal limbs. Oh, mate, I hope you're all right now. I know. Get back over to Egypt, says Rifat. I'm the jinx, aren't I? I must be. David says, disappointed to see Brereton Diaz at Forest. Why wasn't he with the boys at Luton? Well. Oh, hang on. Forest till I die. Well done, Sheffield United. This is a true Forest fan on the Blades Ramble. Not calling us Sheffield, not taking a pop. Love this from a Forest fan. I definitely didn't see that come in, nor did we. You did us a favour and good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you, mate. I would say the same. I wouldn't mean it. So I'll reserve that. But thank you for your comment. Very much appreciated. I hope we finish above you. And that's where I'll leave it. But thank you for your comment. Appreciate it, pal. Helps us too, Forest fan, when them 10 points come off the total at the end of the... Danny, come on. He's been a nice guy. Everybody's welcome here. It's just some Forest fans will definitely get it from us. Need to go here more often. Cheers, John. Thanks, pal. Thank you. Respectfully, don't wish you the same, says Ian. Yeah, we're all a bit like that, aren't we? We needed that win, says Eamon. Brilliant. Susan, one of our ramblers. Good evening, all. Who thinks the courage shown by Ben Osborne is what we need going forward now? I certainly do, Susan. I certainly think that. You were spot on, weren't he, to be fair? He's had some stick again from me this season. I don't think he's got the quality, but it's the endeavour that we need, isn't it? And the determination. Evening, Jimmy. Fantastic win. 3 great points. Just a little worried about injuries. My man of the match, Vinny Souza, up the Ramble. If Vinny Souza, I don't know who got the official man of the match. If it wasn't Vinny Souza, it's absolute robbery. Absolute robbery. I'm sure he did. Too old to go on holiday to Egypt with your dad. You're in denial. Hey, nice. I see what you've done there. Hey, Ian Blades. Well, that's been rude. I came in nice and you show no class. Up the Reds, the real Reds. Fair enough. You've got to stick up for your own, haven't you? And I appreciate you coming on and being nice. I think we're a bit too close to each other in the league, and the rivalry is a little bit tense at the minute for us to be absolutely wishing everybody the absolute best, because in all honesty, I wouldn't mean it. So anyway, I'm going to get to our first caller now. So thank you. I'll try and remember where we are in the comments so I can come back to you. But I'm going to welcome in Elite Rambler, Brian. How's it going, Brian?
Evening, Jimmy. Evening, Prince Abdullah. If you're watching, you come back from come behind the sofa. We've won a game. You can watch now.
I know. He's he were in LA from what I saw on Instagram, watching his beloved 49ers. So he may not be in the best of moods, but you know, hey, Blades have got 3 points, so I'm sure he'll be very happy about that.
But what a difference a week makes. No medicine, no therapy, no psychotherapy. Just smile all around. Fantastic. Proper Sheffield United performance, that. It's what we expect from them, a reaction. You know, whether you run around for 90 minutes, you know, get stuck in, win your battles, and you know, try and play and win. And exactly what we did.
Bri, is it back on?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
No, is it back on?
No.
Is the Great Escape?
Well, I said last time, Jimmy, that I don't think we'll do it, irrespective of points deductions, and I still don't think we'll do it. I'll be honest. I think it's still too much to ask, but you can never say never, can you?
No, mate, no. And to be honest, I think we'll all be in a similar boat. I think we're riding the positivity and the momentum of a great result. And look, it couldn't have come against anybody much better than somebody as close to you. So you feel like you're pulling them in a little bit. You feel like you're on a level pegging with a team that's done very well with limited resources themselves. And who knows? I think we have to continue getting results against those around us, which we certainly didn't do first half at season. But we now, because of the position we're in, we have to pick up a bit of unexpected results, and that starts on Sunday with Brighton. So
we know what Brighton are like, and we played them, didn't we? You know, a couple of weeks ago. They're a dangerous side. I think we'll put out a different side, definitely, against Brighton than we did last time, and I think we'll put up a better performance. But they are a dangerous side. They're a good side. But I still think, you know, it's confidence, isn't it? Yeah, that's what it's all about, confidence. If you're playing well and they're together. Let me ask you a question. Would you change the team, Jimmy, from Saturday?
No, I wouldn't, mate. I wouldn't. I think we've got to. we're going to. Oh well, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you've got me on that one. But to be fair, I thought Wes played okay. I didn't think he was tested much. I thought there was one occasion where he dropped it, and yeah, anyway, that's by the by. But obviously, R&D comes out of the team. Unfortunately, I would slot Ben Osborne to left wing back and move Tom Davies into middle.
Yeah.
And obviously Gerbich comes in. But other than that, I think you stick with that lineup, even if Brereton Diaz is available. And I appreciate that he's a very good player and one of our better players. I can't keep saying that, but he's going to have to fit into the system that best works for the club, for me, rather than us build a system around one or two players. So if he comes on as a 10 for McAtee or a replacement for Archer in the 9, maybe he can do a job there. Or maybe we switch it up after the game swings one way or the other and change formation. But I think you can't really make much changes to a winning team
like that.
Yeah, I mean I don't think the performance was amazing, but I think the confidence the players will get from that will be immense. And I think
that was his best game, undoubtedly. Vinny Stewart,
absolutely
that was his best game of the season, without any doubt. You know,
unbelievable, mate.
And a shout out for Baldwin and Osborne as well. They were outstanding.
Yeah, I agree.
You cannot fault their performance at all. It were great. But just a word about Norrington Davis. What a shame for that lad.
I know, mate.
You know, he was in tears, that kid, when he come off. Unbelievable.
And they're booing him, aren't they? They're booing him for an interview he did when his loan got cut short. Because for those that aren't aware, the boos that R&D received, he'd gone on loan to Luton a couple of seasons ago, maybe 3 seasons ago now. And we terminated the loan halfway through and sent him on loan to Stoke, who were higher in the league at that point, and played a very similar system to what we did. And Luton were playing way back 4, Stoke were playing way back 3, I think, at the time. So it suited us better to have him with Stoke. And he did an interview that said, look, I felt it was the best chance of me progressing, and whatever he'd said, whatever it was, because you've got to say that when you sign for a new club anyway. Luton have latched onto this like he's their boy done wrong and all this sort of thing, and turned his back on him, all this sort of rubbish. So to boo a kid when he's just come back from a career-threatening injury, I think he's really poor form from them. But I'm sure it's a minority, and you don't tarnish all fan base with some idiots, but strange bunch, some of them, I have to say. Strange bunch.
Well, we can only wish him all the best and the speedy recovery.
Of course, mate.
I mean, it's just a shame, isn't it? I mean, just getting back to a bit of form or fitness, I should say.
Yeah.
But
out of contract to end of the season as well, which, I
mean, what's happened to McBurney? Where's he disappeared to? Well, probably Swansea. I
don't know, Me and my dad were discussing this today because it were an odd one that he'd missed. At least I don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, and I don't want to sort of spread any potential negative vibes on what is an unbelievable 3 points for us, and hopefully provide some life back into our season. But it was odd to me that he wasn't anywhere near the squad. Must have been a reoccurrence of a slight niggle that he's had previously, maybe, but we'll see. Brian.
One good thing anyway is give everybody a lift. It's a great result, and everybody's smiling again, and hopefully he'll continue on Sunday, which obviously I won't be there for next 2 games, but it could be fantastic. I'll try and pick up a stream when I'm away. But
yeah, it'd be brilliant, mate. Yeah, you have a fantastic time in Barbados, mate, and I know you'll be sporting us from afar.
I will. I'll send you a video.
Nice one, pal. All right. Thanks for calling, mate. Have a great time. See you soon. Ta-ra, mate.
Bye.
Fantastic. Thank you, Bright. I'm going to jump in some more comments. We want the memes back. That serve you right for Muscat. Yeah, that were going to be. Oh, that came on in group, I think, didn't it? Somebody said serves you right for. I can't remember. But yeah, we need some memes back. We need some memes. For me, you could see why Osborne was kept. Massive work rate, and Jack back was a plus. Yeah, to be fair to Robbo and Ozzy, when they came on against Villa, when we were already gone, they played well, and I can't dispute that. I questioned whether they made the impact that some people made out, because when Villa are up and cruising and could have gone on and probably scored a couple more, I think they're in second gear at that point. So Ozzy and Robbo were going to look okay if they weren't under too much pressure. So for me, it weren't really, oh, great, they have to be involved, even though Robinson has made a really strong case already this season. To be fair to them two on Saturday, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Gary Barlow style. Brilliant. Really, really strong performances. And they've earned the shirt and the right to keep the shirt for me. So let's hope that they carry on. Do you know why McBurney wasn't involved? No, Toby, I don't, pal. No, I don't, mate. Midfield played so well. It gave the defence a chance and also gave our forwards a chance to hurt Luton. Hey, Jimmy, call me crazy, but with Burnley, Forest, Everton still to play, I think we have a chance. I don't call you crazy, pal. Pick up a point here and there away and hopefully win the games we're supposed to, then maybe. Oh, mate, I know. Did you see there were a supercomputer came around? I don't pay him any attention usually, but I just thought it were odd. We're now on the same points as Burnley, 13, which is poor, obviously. We have got a 97% chance, apparently, of being relegated. Burnley, 87. Now, I get that it counts in the teams that you've still got to play and stuff, but we've still got to play Burnley. We've still got to play Everton and Forest, like you say. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. How Vincent Kompany's getting away with no stick, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. Come on, Blades, give Jimmy a like. 187 watching and only 15 likes. 257 now. Come on. Give us a thumbs up if you like what we're doing. It lets me know whether this is the sort of content you're wanting. Andy S, not my Andy S, but thank you for commenting, pal. Great win. Sousa was immense. Jack Robinson, ole, ole. Yes, absolutely right. Great win. And felt proper Sheffield United performance. Glad Archer scored one as well. Has to start the next game. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. Hiya, Jimmy, what are your opinions on Asula? Personally, I think he's the future of the club. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. I like Will Asula. As Hal the Blade would say, he's so cooler. I don't think he's ready, particularly for the Premier League. I think he's got all the tools. He's big, he's strong, he's quick. He can finish, but he's no composure in front of goal. And I think he needs a running aside where he's going to get a lot of service and put 50% of his chances away. I think we've missed the trick by not sending him out on loan to Championship for the second half of the season. And that is just my opinion on that, Aidan. I'm going to get our next caller in now. And that is Platinum Rambler, Gaz. How's it going, pal?
I'm good, Jimmy. How's you?
Yes, I'm very good, mate. Thank you after that result at the weekend. Very good indeed. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. How was the holiday, though? You good?
Yes, spot on, mate. Yes, very nice. All very good. Can't complain.
Yeah, I'm actually still in work, but hey ho, I've just come off a meeting, so I thought I'd jump on anyway.
Commitment, love it.
Yeah, got to be done, mate. Up the Ramble. So yeah, all I can say is that United just give you so much hope, don't they?
That's what kills you, mate. That's what kills you.
It's like last week I was like, we're done. Not a chance have we got any hope of staying up.
We've all been there.
And we probably still haven't. We probably still haven't, have we? Let's be honest. But they're just giving you that bone, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because now I'm like,
the fall is going to be much worse than this little bump of elation. The fall again will be worse than, oh my God, we're done.
Yeah,
I know what you mean, mate. Yeah,
it's the same. But you look at it, it's like I look at Brighton for the next fixture as well. It's like they've only their last 6 games, they've won 3 of them. They beat us, they beat Stoke, and they beat Palace, and they didn't have their freaking their duo playing in that game. I don't think either. So
I think we've half a chance in that game. I think we've half a chance. And look, I'm ever the optimist, as you know, because I think anything is possible with Chrissy Wilder there. And I think we have to play the 3-5-2. My one fear is Burton Diaz comes back into the side, and that sounds odd. And it's not a vendetta against him because I like him as a player. Just for the way we played in that 3-5-2, it's so much more natural to the rest of the players that we've got. I would love to see that team given a second go. Obviously, with Tom Davis, I think we'll have to come in for Reece. That would be my option rather than Max Lowe. But yeah, I don't know, mate. How do you see us going against Brighton at weekend?
I don't think he can. Well, obviously he's got to change Reece out, but I think he puts Max Lowe in personally. That's what I think he'll do. I really do.
Yeah, I do.
I told you he didn't have that much of a bad game, but he can't change it because. Can you imagine if we get thrashed again like we did in the FA Cup after he's changed it? It just doesn't. It's not good optics, is it at all?
No, it's in.
I don't think he can change it personally because, I just think it sets the wrong tone personally going forward. I think see how it goes. Don't get me wrong. We get to have the balls. Oh, sorry, Jimmy. just what you call it. Just have the minerals to change it at 45 if you need to. If it's not going very well, rather than wait till the 60th minute, maybe. But I think he's got to start with that team. I really do. And, Archer, Liddell. I think I said in one of the groups, missed that sitter and then scores an absolute worldie. Literally 20 seconds later. And
I know.
I think Tom Davies does really well on that goal as well to get
Completely agree.
there.
I think he'd be.
I think. Oh, go on,
mate.
No, all I was going to say there is I think he's like a new signing. I think like we got him in the transfer window. Let's just say he got injured very early, just as he was starting to gain that momentum, and I think he'll be pivotal for us till the end of the season. I think. And
I agree, and that's why I'd like to see Ozzy move out to left wing back, which isn't the most comfortable of moves, but I prefer him there to the floor. And Tom Davies come in. But whether, he may well go with Max Lowe just for that flush sort of natural position. And that's what's done it for us.
That's actually not a bad shout. Maybe he didn't do that because he might have thought Tom Davies needed a bit more time to build up. I think he had that amount of time in his legs. If he builds up this week, that's not actually a bad option. I'll be honest, I didn't think of that, putting Ozzy at left back and then putting Tom where Ozzy played. That's actually not a bad shout, to be honest with you.
What are your thoughts, Gaz, on Ben Burton Diaz in the crowd in the Forest End at the weekend?
No comment.
That's what I want to do at the minute. I don't want it to be a bit of a witch hunt, and that's the last thing we want, because he's a blade and he will fight for the shirt when he plays for us. I've no doubt about that. And I have really liked watching him in a Blade shirt. And, if we sign him, and that'd be great. But because he is quality, I don't think it fits the system. But how can you be in the crowd for a relegation rival while your team is playing?
The optics aren't good. So I can't.
Mate, there's no tact there at all, is there? I just think.
Why would you put yourself in that situation?
I feel like people don't really want to talk about it because he's been very good for us in terms of he's scored a couple of goals and he's looked lively in parts. And as I say, he's a very good player. And people don't want to sort of upset the apple cart, I think. But if we're honest, it's an awful look. Absolutely awful. If that would have been Wes, for example,
it would have gone bigger than Penner.
This is what I mean. It's horrendous, isn't it? Horrendous look. So I don't know.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall when Chris Wilder spoke to him about it, because there's no way that gets left in the club. Not a chance.
Completely. Wilder has been a huge, huge advocate of Brereton Diaz since he's come in, because I think he understands the impact he has. I think he has lifted the club in terms of he's got a bit of presence about him, but that is it's a huge own goal for me, and Wilder will not like it. I'll be really interested to see whether he uses that as an excuse not to bring BBD straight back in. He uses the fact that we have got the win. We're 3-5-2-ish. And we're not. He's not going to change a winning team. I think he'll use that as an excuse potentially to leave Brereton Diaz out. I think if Brereton Diaz wasn't in the crowd at Forest, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the lineup against Brighton. I'll be more surprised now if he's straight back in. So we'll see, mate. We'll see where it goes. But
yeah, I'd like to know. You'd love being in that training ground though this morning, wouldn't you? Just to see what the other players thought about it and things like that, because it's not a good look in my opinion. I think whoever's advised him or not advised against him going has let him down just as much as he's let himself down, to be honest with you.
I agree. I think for clarity, I don't mind. I don't particularly. You can't when we bask in the fact that Kyle Walker comes back and Harry Maguire are in the crowd at Bramall Lane or in
We're not fighting Man City, are we?
Exactly right. That's the difference. You know, when McBurney's going to Swansea or in a different division, it's not like, oh, brilliant is at Swansea, but it's like, okay, it's now his like adopted team because he had such a good experience there. Not when you're in a direct battle with them. Not when you sort of seem to be supporting the team that your club's against. It's just
no.
Anyway.
I think he's what you call it. I still think he'll be pivotal, and I still want to sign him. I really do. I think if we could sort a deal out where he comes to us, I think he is a quality player, and I think he's got something to offer us, and I think he will score goals still for us this season. But yeah, don't play him against Brighton. Whether you use the excuse you don't want to change the team or because of that.
Do you? And I'll let you go after this, mate. But do you think that depends on whether we're a Premier League club or not, whether we sign him permanently?
Yeah, I think so. He's done okay since he's come to us in the Premier League. I'll be surprised if they don't want to keep him and at least give him another half a season in Spain to just see how he does, to be honest with you.
Yeah, maybe so. Gaz, thank you for joining me, pal. Very much appreciated. And I'll hopefully see you Sunday.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I need to go on and book some tickets.
All right. Well, we'll leave you in triple point, mate, as we go to the ground. So, all right.
Cheers, Bob. Have a good one.
See you, bud. See you in a bit. Ta-ra. Nice one. Another quality call from a Platinum Rambler. Thank you, Gaz. Great win, says Kristen. Felt like a proper Sheffield United performance. Glad Archer Scott. I've read that one. This is where it gets a bit dodge, where I'm trying to catch up with your comments. Good feeling to win. By the way, can people at the age of 10 become Ramblers? Keep up the hard work. Seb, if you are 10, thank you for commenting and supporting us. Very much appreciate it. But just have a word with your mum or dad just to make sure they're happy with you jumping in and being in our WhatsApp group. There's no real bad language or anything like that, but I don't want to be seen to be poaching. Just have a word with. I think contact the bill payer would probably be the best way to put that. But yeah, everybody's welcome and it's a safe space. But yeah, you can definitely become a Rambler if your parents are okay with that. Keep the same lineup, says Lee, apart from your favourite Max Lowe coming in for RND. Oh, Lee, come on. Nobody deserves to lose their place, including Wes. Lee, I thought you were a learned man. I thought you knew your stuff about football. We often have interesting conversations in our WhatsApp group. You contribute immensely, but that is garbage. That is a load of garbage. Max Lowe and Wes to come in for Brighton. Come on. Anyone who checked FFP TV since their last game? Heard Studios getting smashed up. Scotty clipped something from FFTV for us, which was fantastic. I have reposted that on Twitter, so thank you, Scotty. I asked if Beat the Drop were going to be on tonight. I'd have moved this back a little bit or forward, wherever we needed to do. Can't make it. They can't make it tonight. I don't know why that is. I'm not entirely sure. We're coming. We're coming for you. I like the partnership of Davis and Sousa with Hamer. Them three in the middle should be our main three. I really liked that, but I think that's harsh on Ozzy because Ozzy's performance deserves to keep the shirt, in my opinion, but I really like those three. Should be our main three going forward. I like the look of Archer up top with Macca in the false nine. Completely agree, Kieran. I thought it suited everybody. It were round pegs in round holes, and I really enjoyed watching it. McBurney wasn't involved. Smithy boy, marathon runner. My little bro wasn't involved because of his chuffing coloured boots. That's a quote from Andy the Blade. McBurney was supposed to have a calf strain. Okay, we'll go with that. If we go down, I can't see Sousa staying. He's a quality Prem midfielder. What I would say to that, Mega Mayhem, is I think he's been a little bit hit and miss, like we were saying earlier, in up to now. Having said that, if he continues to put in performances like that, where he's an absolute beast, his value will only grow. And I agree, we'll definitely struggle to keep hold of him then. But if he turns himself into a 40, 50 million pound midfielder, then we are absolutely laughing. And the other thing I will say on Vinny Sousa is, I was not a Hecky fan, as you are all aware. When you're on the internet, like I say, everything is stamped. It's out there. Scott has got me on that previously where he's clipped things that I've said. Vinny Souza was Hecky's number one target in the summer. And it's looked, as I say, a little bit hot and cold up to now. Like we haven't really known how to use him, or he hasn't known how to work in our system. That performance on Saturday told us everything we need to know about why we've brought Vinny Souza in. Over £10 million we've paid, a good investment by the club. I think, I'm not entirely sure whether, I don't think he's got a relegation release clause, but, we'll soon find out, won't we? So I think that's a great bit of business, and well done to Eki, I have to say, for that bit of business, because spot on. And now we're going to go to our next caller. Been waiting very patiently, and we've still got a few waiting, so thank you for everybody that's calling in. But Man Mountain, Paul, how's it going, mate?
And well, yourself, you enjoy your holiday, pal? All good?
I enjoyed it, mate, thank you. I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed...
Nice. I know you've got your nice camera now, but it
I know,
looks
I
good
know.
on you. It's good.
Somebody said I looked absolutely atrocious, like I've been run over or something, one of the comments in the last one. So that just shows what good lighting and camera work can do for you. So there you go, mate.
That roadkill tinge that you've got there, beautiful.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And I managed to have a shave because I didn't do my own packing, so that were a revenge that I had a big white ginger beard for me last stream. But there you go.
You're making me look real peaky. I look well peaky on mine now. Never mind. Anyway, just show me shit.
I'm loving the little subheading rather than the -40 we went with last time. It's now the greatest gear.
Of course, everything changes very, very quickly, doesn't it? And the mood has been absolutely fantastic. I just wanted to do a couple of shouts. The fans, listening to them at the game, the noise all the way through, absolutely love that. And I know that we can do that sometimes at the Lane when we've given ourselves something to shout about. We need game. If we're going to win these matches, we need all the fans from the first minute going bananas. Because if we have I just feel like you can see the players have got an extra half a yard all the time when the fans are going mad, and the celebrations, like that feeling. Vinny's like this, and it's like they're feeling it. Do you know what I mean? It's easy to fall out of love with footy when you don't win a lot of games, but we've got to ride that feeling, and the fans have really got to go for it. I think.
Completely agree. Can you imagine if the atmosphere's there on Sunday and we beat Brighton? Can you imagine what the atmosphere is going to be like post game as well? Like, it will really feel like there's half a chance then, and it will be half a chance because we're still behind, but it's giving you that glimmer in it, and it's the hope in it. It's the hope, unfortunately.
I think if we win throughout the next three, it's absolutely game on, and there's nothing to say that we can't. There's nothing to say we can't. Some of the sides that we've played, I feel like we ran into them at the wrong point, because I've seen some of the performances, and they're up and down like our performances are a little bit, and I think we've run into a few at just the wrong time, and it makes you think about all those late goals and those bloody giveaways and everything. Because if we had 5 points on the board now, it's absolutely game on. So I feel and
confidence as well, though. Confidence plays into that, and you could feel the confidence growing in the team as we saw the game out as well against Luton. The third goal was absolutely key, so we weren't holding on to that single goal advantage. Vinny getting that third goal just gave us that breathing room that we thought we're actually going to do it. We're going to get an away win here. First away win at season, monkey off us back. And the confidence that should give the players, I just think it's it could be one of the biggest turning points we've ever had as a club, really. And that sounds dramatic, but
no, I think you're right, because it's not just the supporters, it's the players that need to believe that we've got players who can nick us goals in those key moments, and that's the difference at this level. We know we've got McAtee, who does it 1 game in 3. We know we've got Archer, who can do it. To think we've got Sousa now, who they believe he can do it. We've got Brereton Diaz, who we know can score. We've got threat all over the pitch, and that means that in those 50-50 moments, we've probably got more chance of winning games because we've got guys who can set the chances at this level. And when Vinny took that chance, it makes me start to think, because next time, if he gets the ball 25 yards out, he'll have a ting, he'll have a go. Where instead of a little sideways pass, he'll be like, I'm having a bit of this. And we've seen him, we've seen him strike a good ball. Confidence, brilliant. I think that's the big thing, really. And I don't necessarily agree that I think Vinny's had a really good game, and I hope it's a bit of a springboard for him. But it's He's got to be more consistent in my head. I think if he's going to come and run a
100%.
game for us like that, I think we can believe that he can do it now. But he hasn't done it that much, and he was getting slated a few games ago at being a bit clumsy and a bit cumbersome, a bit slow in possession as well. I just think he just needs to string those games together now. Now he's found his feet, and like you say, Roy Keane used to say that, didn't he? He said, "Good players are good players all the time." So
Correct.
He used to speak about Dennis Irwin and he's a 7 and 8 out of 10 every single match without fail.
Gary Neville. Yeah.
Gary Neville, that's it. Yeah. I think he just it's what Vinny needs. He needs more consistency. The same as Kusema does. I think that's the difference with him. I think he's got the magic. We know he has in those boots of his, but he's got to start doing it. You know, he wouldn't be playing for us. If he was doing it week in, week out, he'd be somewhere at a really high level. And so I just feel like we need that. But my main talking point, I think I just sent you a message, didn't I? The refereeing. You know, I've gone for it before, and I'm just gonna have to put the boot in on Luton a little bit. The defending for that first goal, if that were us, we'd be going bananas. The first guy getting muscled, the second one not coming across to make a challenge. I was like, that is absolute schoolboy rubbish. If
It was poor.
Oh, mate, I was like, they will be fuming at that. Rob Edwards would be absolutely...
Cameron Archer, 5'8", Cameron Archer, muscling you off the ball. It's embarrassing, isn't it?
But, mate, he's bearing goal. He's bearing down on goal, and no one's even moved towards him. He's basically gone about 8 yards out and just gone, I'll put this in. And I was like...
Near post. Just pulls it near post.
Mate, it was criminal. But no, the refereeing. So there's been a load of debate about this, and I've had my say on the refereeing before. I've never seen two teams not appeal for a penalty. No player on either team, I don't think, put their arm up and went, "That's definitely a pen."
I didn't know what we were calling playback for, because I couldn't get it on me. I couldn't hear it properly on my stream. I didn't know what we were calling playback for. It were not obvious at all. Nobody called for it, like you say.
No, and I watched the little clip of Dermot Gallagher talking about it. Obviously, ex-referee, and they said because his arm's above his shoulder, it means that even though it looks like it's momentum, he had no way that he would have been knowing that was going to do that. And they said because of this, like the silhouette of his body getting bigger. You could see kind of that there was a chance that they could give it a very small chance. Even he, and they all sit together, don't they? The refs, like anything. Ask Gaz about that one. But but the second one, the one that they got, oh my God, that is terrible. I mean, I'm not sure what Vinny's doing with his hands. I think he's just bottling it a little bit.
He does have a tendency to bottle it a bit, doesn't he, Vinny, in them sort of moments? But staying down and stuff, and I know.
To think that's given, to think that's like that, they're going to get a pen for that. That's a goal. That's effectively an 80% chance he scores a goal off the back of that, and that for me sums up VAR. You have no idea what's happening as soon as they go, oh, we're checking that. And I mean, when is the ref in the English Premier League going to have the? I know there's a 10-year-old watching. Have the stomach to say, I don't agree. I don't think I need to change that decision.
I know you've sent me to the screen to look at it, but I disagree. I'm sticking with my original decision.
They've
got the power to do that, haven't they?
Well, Dermot Gallagher even said it. He said, I genuinely thought when they sent him there, he was going to turn it down. But I still haven't. I said I'd seen it in Europe. I saw a ref in Europe do it. Yeah, but I've never seen an English ref do it. And I thought, you can't believe that. You can't believe he's given that. And even Rob Edwards, the manager, he said afterwards, neither of them is a pen. I'm not sure what a pen is. I'm not sure what handball is anymore. It's not what it used to be. And I tend to feel the same about the offsides. Like the whole idea of handball said it used to be that it had to be deliberate. Back in the day, it used to be daylight, and when you're half a toe end offside because you just move forward. To me, that's not offside. That is not what the advantage
as well. Used to give attacker benefit at doubt rather than defender. it's convoluting it for convoluting's sake, and we could get into the whole blue card issue now when on top of something else that's when they haven't even got the first bit right, and it's definitely a debate worth having, and it's something that I think we'll probably maybe me and you'll get together and discuss it on another stream and involve other people if they're able to talk about it. We're fortunate in our group that we've got some insight into what goes on and referees' decisions and some reasoning behind it. I've also disclosed that I went to school with a couple of lads that ref. So I'm always loath to criticise them, but they're in a well-paid, high-paying job, and the spotlight is on them, and it's tough. The one thing I'd say with stuff like VAR is their job has changed from the job they signed up to. They're now expected to be data analysts and knowing every sort of the law to the nth degree, which they should do for the level that they're in. I can see how the first one gets given. I can see how it gets given. I don't think it's handball. But the reasoning behind it was that it's changed the flight of a goal-scoring opportunity by his hand being in a what do you call it, an unnatural position or whatever. So you can just about stomach it. And that's not because it's a penalty for Sheffield United. That's because I can understand the reasoning behind it. The second one is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But you knew, and like you say, especially as soon as it goes over to the monitor, you know what's coming. But you knew that they were going to try and even it up, really. If there's half a chance to give it after there's another handball in box, he's going to even it up. That was my initial gut feeling was he's going to give this. Even before he went to the screen and they're doing the VAR check, he's going to give it. And the fact that you can get given an handball for somebody ducking out of a challenge, essentially, and trying to go into a fetal position from a jump is ridiculous. But
there we are. Yeah, I think I completely agree. I just feel like they've just got it so wrong. It really does. I mean, if it had cost us, God, I don't know what I'd have done. I'd been sick probably. But anyway, I heard you talking about the system earlier. I just wanted to talk to you about the system and the 3-5-2 and the 4-4-2 and whatever we decide to go with and with the personnel that we've got. I think that the Robinson debate has to be put to bed. I think that
agreed.
We've said it a couple of times already, and he still doesn't curry full favour all the time when we're picking sides, and certainly your sides as well, Jim. I've said it to you before. We'll say it again, but
absolutely right. I take that on chin. I've been a trusty backer over Robinson, and it's proven wrong. And I'm not saying trusty won't come good for us because I think hopefully he will. I don't know if the level's a bit too much for him at the minute, but Robinson's fully deserving of his place in this starting lineup. And I sometimes get like that. Sometimes if I'm off on a player, a bit like my dad's shown you the extreme version with McBurney when you go one way with the player. But I've been a bit like that with Robinson, where he made so many mistakes in championship season. I was done. I was like, this guy is not good enough, and he's certainly not going to be good enough for Prem. He's proven me wrong, and I have to get it in my head that he's one of our better performers. Even if he's not one of our better defenders in my eyes, he's doing everything we need him to do. And he's putting in Blades performances, which is what we want, where he gives absolutely everything and he's in 100% into the challenges and fights for the shirt. Yeah, he walks into the side at the minute. He walks into it.
And on the system thing, I think that I just feel like it's a mentality thing. I think it's more, for me, is more the problem. So I think that, I think a lot of managers think like that as well. It's like, we all think that if we'd have played 4 there and we'd have played 3 there, we'd have done better. Sometimes we're just not at the races and we get bullied out of games like we did it against Villa. I think we could have played anything and we'd have got turned over that day because the players just weren't at it and they weren't competitive and they weren't getting up the field. And I think that's where I think sometimes we jump on the formation a little bit before we start to think about the players, because if something goes wrong like it did against Newcastle, like it did against like Aston Villa or whatever, and we just go, oh, well, maybe if it had changed this and done this and changed the formation. And we always look at formation, but the players have got to get up the pitch. That's the first thing. That's the only thing I would say to you about Archer. I think Diaz does give us a get out ball on that left hand side, and obviously he can finish. I think I've seen Archer play up basically on his own, and when he's on it, again, when he's playing well, he's linking play. That first game that Wilder had, he was fantastic. Like coming towards the ball, his first touch was on, He was using his body really cleverly. And then he's had other matches where he just gets bulldozed and he don't look at it. You know what I mean? He might not be getting the best service all the time, but you've got to do it. If you're a Sheffield United forward, you can't just stand around like Gary Lineker and wait for someone to stick it on your head. You've got to come towards the ball. You've got to keep the ball for us because you're probably going to be the get out ball, and
that's fair.
You've got to make it stick. I think that's the only reason that Bernie gets entertained by some of the supporters is because he has games where without him, we don't look like we'd be able to link play. We don't look like we'd be able to get the ball forward and link with the other players, and he brings players in sometimes. And I think that's where his main strength is for us. And certainly at championship level, he can do that. But Archer just needs to have like that. He was a menace on, aside from the sitter, he was a total menace. He really was, because he was at him. He was quick. He was looking after the ball. He was competing. He's just got to do that every game. Everyone will leave him alone and we'll play him every week because we know he can score. But he's just got to give us something extra outside the box, especially when things aren't going our way. We've got to rely on him to keep the ball for us. Like Illy. The best thing about Illy was you give him the ball anywhere on the pitch and he'd probably come out with it surrounded by 2 or 3. And we've never had a player like that, but we need Archer to be a little bit more consistent with his link play. And if he does, I'm with you. First choice every time for me. He's a born finisher, composure. He's got composure that none of the others have got. I think Diaz I think he's proved that he's got a bit about him in that front, but certainly Archer's the finisher. And he's just got to do it a bit more often. It's similar with McAtee. You know, one game he looks like he's unplayable. Another one he looks like he just gets the ball took off him every game.
I want to talk to you more about this because I think we'll probably differ slightly, but I can certainly see points you're raising. I think you're sort of saying there's more responsibility should be put on the individual players, and I think that's fair in terms of their own performance and how they handle the position that they're given. And I can't argue with that. I think you look at somebody like Ben Osborne, who's been asked to play a number of positions for us, always puts the effort in, even if he's not going to be good enough. But I thought he played really well on Saturday. So I think the formation lends itself more to how we play as a team and what they're comfortable with, and maybe that affects them psychologically as well. But you're right that when Archer's had his chance, he hasn't always done. You know, I can't just blindly back him because I was desperate for us to sign him because I think he's going to be a great player for us. You have to acknowledge when he's not done the business, and he hasn't every game this season. But it's so frustrating when you see performances like Saturday, like the Wolves game, where you know what he can do, and you think if we just provided this kid with a system that not provided him with a system, provided him with the right service, somewhere where he can fit and feels comfortable, we've got a real player on his hands. And a goal scorer at this level is absolutely vital. You just know that we're going to miss out by a squeak and he'll end up going somewhere like Leeds or Crystal Palace and end up becoming a decent Premier League striker for somebody else. So,
but I think we might have gone a little bit of a way to sorting that out a touch. And I mean, Gerbic is still yet to have what I'd call a good game for us. I think he was steady, and I don't point the finger at him for the games that he's played at all. But I think Wes almost kills Archer a little bit because I think the way that it's true, Wes loves a floaty 50-yard left foot. Oh, deal with that, Cam. Do you know what I mean? And you can tell his body language. He's a young player. He gets disillusioned with it, I think, Archer. In the game, you can see his body language changes. You know, when he's on it and doing well, he's on it. And when he's not, and when they're just pumping balls up like Wes, Wes is so guilty of this. Just killing Archer, just because he's got a 6'3" monster coming through the back of him, taking ball off him. It just kills his confidence. You know, he's probably you can see a bit of a confidence player, and when he's on it, he's on, and when he's not, he's not. And I just feel like Wes has been killing him all season. He really has. Yeah. With those bloody Route 1.
Are we seeing you in Triple Point at weekend, mate?
Oh, it's in negotiation, mate. It's in negotiation. I've I've got some family visiting, and they're stopping over, and it's about how soon can I get rid? Because I know I can get tickets. I know. It's I'm I don't I love them to death, but if I can get them out after breakfast, then I'm there.
So won't see you, mate. But have a good weekend anyway.
Stranger things have happened. I've got the buzz. Ronnie, my son Ronnie, he's mad for it. He can't. He's like, Dad, we're gonna go. I'm like, we'll have to wait. Negotiations are in play. We'll see.
Top man. All right, mate. Thanks for jumping on. Speak to you soon.
Catch you soon. Up the Ramble. See you in a bit.
The Ramble. Ta-ra, mate. Thank you, mate. Right. Susan says, Bill, I'm coming to you, pal. Don't worry. I know you've been waiting a long time. There's a couple more behind you as well. I think injuries aside, Wilder should let this team play against Brighton and give them another chance to develop an understanding. They deserve a chance after Luton. Completely agree, Susan. Maybe a cup up, maybe Wes. Obviously, Reece Norrington Davis comes out for me as well. Brenton Diaz at Forest, says Andrew. Strange. I agree, a bit odd. But you're overthinking that footballers have brains. Harsh, Andrew. Harsh. The win was brilliant, but let's be honest, if we were relegated before the fixtures came out with we were relegated before the fixtures came out with the financial plan. We built our recruitment. It's been pitiful when Luton got Townsend and Barkley up the Ramble. I thought you're absolutely right. I can't. I'm not going to argue that point that our summer business was awful to a degree. I loved Cameron Archer coming in. I loved Hamer coming in, and now it looks like Sousa was great as well. But I think, all the signings, Traore, Slimani, Larouci, haven't been the best, have they? So it's certainly been hit and miss at best. Ross Barkley's been an absolute revelation for Luton, but I have to say, did a great job on him on Saturday. Didn't affect the game massively in my eyes. Regarding Brenton Diaz in the Forest End, in the Notts End, Notts Forest End, is it any different to McBurney in the Swans End or others? For me, it's not a big deal. He's here on loan. Do your job on the pitch, and your time off is your time off. And that's absolutely fine to have that opinion, Scott. I think the optics are appalling, particularly when we're in a relegation. It's not only because there are rivals, because there's a loose rivalry between the clubs, not as harsh as the Wendy's or Leeds particularly, but we don't get on with Forest at all. All the bitterness between the playoff game where Billy Sharp got attacked, and there's just a real negative vibe about it. They are some of our key relegation rivals. I just don't think it's on at all. My opinion, you're entitled to yours, pal, as you know. To me, it all depends on other injuries. Yeah, see what injuries we've got. Marcelo, Brazilian striker, but in the Championship for us. I remember him vaguely. I'm only a nipper. 39. Brenton Diaz will still celebrate when he scores against Forest. The guy's quality, but at the moment, Arch keeps his place. Claire, the Bulgarian Blade. Evening, Jimmy. Great result. The SUFC roller coaster keeps on going. Susan, man of the match for me, especially this post-match interview. His joy and pride was infectious. Absolutely right. He's going to become a real cult figure for us, isn't he, Claire? Looking forward to seeing some more of your content as and when you choose to release that. Only way Brenton Diaz gets back in our good books again is if he bangs the goals in when in the side. That's right. And he has been doing, to be fair. When he's played, he's generally done well, hasn't he? Would you change the keeper for Sunday, Jimmy? Yes, I would. Not a big West fan, but did okay on Saturday. And that's it. If it had been outstanding, I think that's all right. I still think he made an error that went a little bit unnoticed. But Gerbic not pulled up carpet at the moment and conceded quite a few in his last few games. I'm torn. I'd go Gerbic, but all opinions, mate. Tom Davis to start. Harsh on Ozzy, but if Ozzy moves to left wing back, then yes for me, Jim Bob. What's this, Brenton Diaz? Can someone send a picture to it, please? Can't on here, but yeah, he's basically it was confirmed by TV cameras who were in the crowd at Forest, in the Forest End. Proper United performance, that, says Rob. Thought everyone played really well. Would only change Fodders for Gerbic. And we need a left wing back, don't we, as well, obviously. Where can I find this BBD stuff? It's online, mate. More than likely, says Scott on X. Keep dreaming, you're going down. It's a Forest fan. Of course it is. And you'll be joining us, FFP Knots. I just wish, Jimmy, we can get a few from set pieces, especially from centre halves. That's an improvement they need to work on. Absolutely right. Ron agrees that Tom Davis should start I assume with Ozzy moving to left wing back. Vinny's going to get better. His mum's on the case. Up the Blaze, up the Ramble. Top man, John. If anybody knows Vinny Souza's mum's number for legitimate reasons, she's more than welcome on the Ramble. Great performance, Wes stayed. And if we've got any Brazilian interpreters, that would also be appreciated. Great performance. Wes stays in, up the next blade, in the next game, up the blades. Brian, disagree. But fair play to you, mate. Luton threw their hands up for their pen. I rewatched it today. All right. I missed that then. But it's ridiculous. It shouldn't have been awarded in my eyes. Who starts between the posts this weekend? Gerbich. McBurney makes you wonder. Certainly does. Certainly does. I think Vinny Souza's played very well last 2 games. Souza, to me, from the angle, he looks to be protecting his head. He did, yeah, but he's probably the biggest player on pitch. I just think you've got to be a little bit tougher. Ref was the guy who sent him off. Ollie Mack, I think it was a repeat waiting to happen, so damage limitation. Maybe. Not been mentioned, but I thought Archer's finish was class because he made it look so easy. His eyes totally tricked the keeper. Yeah, he did. And his body language went, didn't it, as if he were going to go far post, and he's pulled it near post. Completely agree. Great finish. The refs have got worse. Wish they would scrap VAR as well as nearly come off worse with it. The commentator said he will give the pen as it was very similar to ours. Yeah, I thought same. I thought they were going to give it. The Luton pen shows how bad it is when Alan Shearer even sticks up for the Blades. I haven't seen match of the day yet. I've got to catch up with all stuff. But yeah, that is bad if Shearer's sticking up for us. 232 watching now and only 15 likes. Oh my goodness. What's going on? Oh, 95 likes. Thank you, Scotty. Why do we always put ourselves by Wes booting the ball back up the pitch straight to the other team and put ourselves under pressure? We do give the ball away a lot. It's a balancing act, Andrew. Do we give it out to the defence where they're immediately put under pressure or the high press and then potentially give it away close to our goal? If we're confident, then we can do that and retain possession. I don't mind oofing it upfield if we've got somebody to aim for, but Cameron Archer, you can't aim for Cameron Archer. He's the smallest man on pitch usually. I'm going to bring in our next caller now, and that is young William. Billy, how's it going, pal?
I'm all right, mate. How are you?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you. Says you're right for Norrington Davis. That was the tweet, wasn't it? That was the one that we were after. Top man. Yeah. Top man. How's it going, mate? What do you want to talk about?
I'm good. I'm just I'm gonna bit of a mea culpa to begin with. I was one of the most negative about Holgate coming in online and in the WhatsApp.
Thank you for bringing him up.
I was super negative about that signing, and I know it's only been 2 games, and I know the one before Luton was a bit ropey, but I thought he had a great game. Thought he was cracking. Thought he was really, really good. Yeah. So shows what I know. That's why I'm sat on the couch and not managing Sheffield United. No,
mate. No, I don't. That's not it at all. I understood why everybody were against Holgate.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him a chance because I always thought he could work in a 3-5-2, and I got it right because I still think the recruitment has been so hit and miss with.
Yeah.
Why do you bring Brereton Diaz in to play a left forward and then bring Holgate in to play right centre back, which is what I think we've brought him in to do? Because you're not going to play a 3-5-2 with Brereton Diaz in the side. So it's all been a little bit mismatched. And you've gone now. Oh, you're back. But Holgate, I think, has been very solid. Very solid. And as a centre half, it's very rare that you're going to be amazing. But he's done exactly what we've needed him to do. I think he gets the club. I think he gets the attitude of the fan base. I was just
going to bring up the point of our first goal. I don't know who their defender is, but Cam's running through, and instead of just clattering him or kicking it out or toe poking it back to keeper, tries to be cute with it. Cam nicks it off him. We're through 1-0 up. Difference between us and them in that game was Holgate's in a similar situation about 15 minutes later with Morris, just wipes him out. Takes the yellow card, gets on with it, and I think the back line's been missing a lot of that this season. It made me think watching it, like, if that's a Nell, even if that's Robbo, who I think has been our best defender, but Trusty's a perfect example. Like, they're trying to play out there, they're trying to do what Luton are doing.
Yeah,
and I think
stepping off them a little bit and just letting them have it, and then just trying to pick your moment. Like you said, Holgate, no messing about, straight in. loved it.
And I think that really showed his experience, and that's probably if you could encapsulate why Wilder signed him, that's probably it in a nutshell, isn't it? That kind of experience we've been lacking all season.
I really like it as a signing, and the thing that I tried to I called for calm when we signed him, and the reason being, Basham is a miss to us because we all love Bash. We all love Bash, but Basham is not a Premier League player in my eyes. And if you see Holgate even as a small upgrade on Basham, then he's worth bringing in for me because he's the light for light replacement for him. I still think he can potentially do a job as a 4, like as a defensive midfielder. If Sousa goes down injured or he's flagging at 70, 80 minutes, then Holgate can slide in there.
Yeah.
But I think he's found his place quite early on. I think he's looked very comfortable at right centre back. And I think it's made our defence look a lot more solid. It's square again. It's square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes. And people playing where the more natural fit is. And for me, that leads me on to the next thing, which we've already asked a few, but I want to hear your opinions, Billy. What happens now? What happens now? Does Ben Brereton Diaz come back into your side, which means we have to go to a back 4? Or do we stick with a similar formation and Ben Brereton Diaz has to force his way back in either as a 9 or a 10? Probably coming on for Archer or McAtee.
Like last time I phoned in, I think we both agreed, didn't we, that I don't think Wilder knew his best team, maybe. Or it felt like he was scrabbling around for what the 11 was. And I think we've seen it now. I think we've seen it. I'd go so far as to say I'd stick Max Lowe in and keep Ozzy in middle. I think he was that good against Luton, which I'd never thought I'd be saying. If only because I don't know if Tom Davies can do 90 minutes yet. But I think that's the formation. I don't think Brereton Diaz walks back in. I certainly shouldn't walk straight back in.
I agree. I agree on the Tom Davies thing, and I think that's been the concern about him doing a full 90. And we've got to be careful with him. We're just obviously seeing what's happened to Reece, where players coming back too early and being asked to do. And I'm not saying that's happened, but it's just you've got to be careful with players that are either injury prone or just coming back from a big injury.
Yeah.
Do you think? And I know you've gone for Max Lowe shout. I think that Ozzy.
And you know how much I don't like Max Lowe. So
I know. Well, I don't mean to be a Tommy Topper, but he's not getting in my team at Max Lowe. No chance. Yeah. No chance. I still think he looked a little bit, well, I think he looked dodgy, to be fair. And I don't want to be, again, this is not a stream for us being down on players.
Yeah.
But do you think Andre Brooks has maybe been the fall guy a little bit here? Because my opinion would be if Davies does start to flag, then Brooks would be the man to come on and as fresh legs and maybe on 60 minutes or something. Obviously, it'll depend on the result, the way the game's flowing. But rather than bring Max Lowe on as a left wing back, then I think we replace Tom Davies with somebody like an Andre Brooks, or even a, God forbid, if he's fit again, Ollie Arblaster. So
yeah, I think I agree with that. I think players like Brooks and Blaster are definitely more suited to those kind of cameo roles right now. I mean, you saw it for me against Villa, and which is why I was trying to defend him against a few people sort of jumping on his back. Like, he's still like 20 years old. Like, he's going to have those kinds of games where he gets lost and he's running about like headless chicken. I mean, that's the major difference. Yeah, that's the major difference between someone like him who's got bags and bags of talent and someone like an Ozzy or a Tom Davies who, you know, they've been there, done it. They know what they're doing a little bit more at that level. So I personally, I'd still like to see him getting game time, but I think, definitely off the bench a bit more for me, really. I don't think we can be relying on him week in, week out. So if Tom Davies is fit, then I think, you know, it's perfect time for him to show us a bit more what he's about. I
just think it's calm heads. Calm heads, like a Tom Davies gives you a calm head. Mason Holgate gives you a calm head. If George Baldock comes back in, I think it's harsh on Bogle because I think Bogle had another good game. So maybe Baldock struggles to get back in straight away. But, you know, it's these more experienced players.
We've been crying out for it, haven't we?
Seasoned Premier League players. Look, they're not top draw Premier League players. Sure. But Holgate and Davies have been around the Premier League for years. And Yeah, I think we've needed that experience. You've seen how Barkley and Townsend have lifted Luton. Maybe they can have a similar effect for us. So yeah, I really like it, mate. I think their inclusion will improve us. No end.
Yeah,
yeah. And I would rather, and this is going to be controversial, and I don't just say things. This is my honest opinion. I'm not just saying it so that to get a reaction. But if you ask me honestly now, who I would rather sign, Holgate or Brereton Diaz, I would rather sign Mason Holgate.
Well,
personally.
I was just gonna ask you. Do you think? I mean, obviously, I know it's been 2 games since he's come here, but if this carries on in this mold for the rest of the season, do we look to loan him again next season if we go down?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a chance we can sign him. To be honest.
I was going to say, is it even potentially a permanent?
Well, he's reportedly on 70, 75 grand a week, which we're going nowhere near. We will not pay anything like that. I think the most we will pay in the Championship is probably 35, 40, the most. And that's obviously if we get relegated. I think there's a chance we get him on next to nothing on a deal like that, on a 3-4 year deal, because he's not going to give up. He's on 75 grand, but he's only a year left in at Everton. So he's not going to play. And there's a chance that Everton will just want him off the books, either for FFP or, it's a lot of money to be losing every month, 300 grand a month.
You'd like to think as well, if he carries on putting in good performances, you'd like to think that he sees a path to sort of kicking on his career or restarting his career, some might say.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I mean, at one point, Everton fans were talking about him going to City like 4 or 5 years ago. So he's dropped off massively from that potential, hasn't he? So
I couldn't believe how much his reputation had fallen, and I'm not saying that hasn't been with merit, because I haven't seen enough of him, and those that have put in some shocking reviews of his performances.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But at once, when he was coming through at Barnsley and first time for Everton, he was the next big thing. He was before Stones and all that sort of stuff. I think he came in just after Stones at Everton, because my dad was saying that. But it was in that ilk of, we're going to buy the best of the Championship, and we're going to put him in Everton's first team. We're going to grow him, and he'll go on to have a brilliant career. Just never happened for him, did it? But I think we could definitely give him that olive branch of starting having a second chance with us. What is he, 28? So
yeah, still young enough, isn't he, really, I think.
Yeah.
I hope he keeps putting in performances like that. I hope Big Vinny keeps putting in performances like that. I've been a bit outspoken and how good I think Vinny can be. And I think he showed it.
Big fan, aren't you? Big fan.
Big fan. And I think, I mean, I've been told all season since we signed him that he's a waste of money, £10 million too much. And I'm sorry, but like, that's the player that £10 million gets you nowadays.
We have been on the same page with Vinny, I think, all the way through, because I think you've championed him more than I have, and I'll give you that credit. And I still think one performance does not make a player, but he's certainly shown us what he's capable of. But we were both on the same wavelength with, we think he's being lined up, not officially, but we're just predicting that when Palhinha leaves Fulham, because he was almost at Bayern, weren't he? And that deal fell through.
Well, he was in Munich, like he's in the weren't he? Apparently.
Oh yeah, it was a Dan James thing, weren't it? Where he got called off last minute. Vinny Souza is the successor to João Palhinha at Fulham, potentially, particularly if we go down. And it's now about us. Firstly, can we keep him? Because if we can keep him, I think he's going to be an absolute beast for us. But if we've got a player that's upped his value to 30, 40, God forbid, £50 million, then that could sort us out as a club, potentially.
Yeah,
I'd love
100%.
to keep him.
Yeah.
I'd love to keep him, but that might mean we get to keep an L in the Championship. And, there's other little things that come with that. Gusema might not go.
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely could go that way, especially if he keeps putting those kinds of performances in. If he, goes back to the sort of patchy, 1 week you'll get a 4 out of him, next week you'll get like a 6, out of 10. Then maybe we will keep hold of him. So we'll see. I guess
Paul called it. It's all about consistency with Vinny, and he's been up and down, like we've said. But now we know what he can do. We'll be expecting that sort of
more
level.
of it.
And if he gives it, he'll get all the support he needs from us. So, look, we're talking about if if and when we're relegated, blah, 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 all this sort of negativity. Billy, can we stay up?
I tell you what, if we win at the weekend and Luton lose, they've got Man United, haven't they, at home?
I don't know. I didn't know their picture. I know, obviously, I'll be at Brighton, but
I think they have anyway. I could be wrong on that, but anyway, if we win and they lose, what's the gap down to then? 4 points.
4, but 5 with goal difference.
But 5 with goal difference, yeah. I think when it gets into like that kind of territory, that's when you can start believing, I think, can't you?
Especially when we've got Forest to come,
Yeah.
Burnley to come, Everton.
Yeah.
We go to Bournemouth, and I know that's tricky, but they're not in great form at the minute. Let's just have a little look. I think it will Sunday. Yeah, they're on after us. Man U go to Kenilworth Road. So
I think that's a massive turning point that in the season. I think if they lose that 2 home games in a row after they've just come off, well, we've seen it, and we all week. We're Billy Big Ball. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't swear, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, Billy.
Yeah.
Billy
we're we're the chicken of the walk, shall I say?
Yes,
the Luton
nice.
Yeah. We've seen it all week. And then 2 back-to-back home losses. I mean, that's a massive gut punch. That. So that it could be a turning point. I think if that happens, then I won't write us off.
Burnley are at home to Arsenal.
Oh,
I think Arsenal win. That's on the Saturday.
Yeah.
So we go into our game knowing that a point takes us off bottom of the table, which in itself is
massive.
A huge,
that isn't it? Yeah, just for morale,
incentive.
I think that's massive. Yeah.
So
huge.
And we won't be going into any game saying we just need to get a point. I think do not write us off is all I'm saying. Bill, I'm gonna have to let you go, mate. I love talking to you, pal, but there's a couple waiting and they'll be our last callers. But
up the ramble, mate. And before I go, there you go, little treat for you.
Oh, hang on. You said little treat for me, and then camera's gone off. I don't know whether that's a good thing.
It's Big Vinny, Vinny the Redeemer. Can you see it?
No, mate, I can't see it. But is it that?
No worries.
Is it that picture you ambushed our WhatsApp group with?
Yeah.
Changing profile picture, going rogue. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right,
Ramble,
nice one, mate. I'll let you
later.
go, but thank you for that. Speak to you soon. Serves you right for Norrington Davis. See you in a bit. Thank you to Bill for calling in. I'm going to jump straight into our next caller because I don't want him to run out of time. I want to give him a decent throw at it. Brad, how's it going, pal?
Hello. Good.
Hello, mate. Thank you for waiting. I know you've been there a while.
No worries. No worries. Worth the wait.
Love that. What do you want to talk about, bud?
Quite a lot of it's been said, to be fair. I think the system worked well. I've not seen anyone say this, but McAtee, he was giving me he's sort of the Ndiaye role. I almost thought on Saturday. I don't know if anyone else has sort of spotted that, but he was sort of doing the same thing that Illy used to do, where he would stay further the pitch, but when he got the ball, you thought he's going to have a run at their defence. He's not going to hold it up.
Yes.
He's going to.
Yes, it was asked to do that job, weren't it? I know what you said.
Yeah.
So we're going to come back at you then, saying he can't do the Ndiaye role in terms of, I don't think he's strong enough, and he hasn't really been consistent enough. But you're right, when you think about it, and it's a good point, and something I'd not really put into context. Archer was the main striker, but he was the Illy sort of drifting between, weren't he, where he's expected to pick up the ball and run at players, but still has to stay higher up the pitch. Yeah, it's a good comparison, that.
Yeah, and I thought it was quite an interesting, whether it was done deliberately or not. I mean, because McAtee still has 2 years on Iliman Ndiaye in terms of age. Iliman Ndiaye wasn't even playing professional, really, at the age that McAtee is yet. Like, he was in our 21 still, I think. So obviously, when that's something, I don't think he's quick enough. That's the one difference, I would say. McAtee, when he's sprinting, he's not got the speed to really sort of do that.
Yeah, and
but maybe that's the Broughton Diaz.
Young player. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe that's where Broughton Diaz comes on in the 60th minute and frightens their defence by when they've been running after McAtee for 60 minutes. They've then seen Broughton Diaz come on.
Broughton Diaz, a right option off the bench. All's forgiven if he hits as a winner at Forest when injured, unprofessional for me, but it's a goal threat when we need him. Absolutely right. That him coming off the bench it's rare that we as Blades, particularly at this level, see us make a change and we think game changer. He could be that for us. And I'm not, as I said, I have obviously gone in hard on Brereton Diaz don't fit our system. I don't think he does. But if you bring him on 60 minutes for a James McAtee or even a Cam Archer, defences have got to be thinking, oh no, we don't need Ben Brereton Diaz coming on after we've had an hour at run around from McAtee.
It's a different dynamic for him.
It's got potential, mate. Yeah, I think it's got potential, mate.
It's something to think about. Whether Wilder will do that or not, I don't know, because he's obviously got his own plans, and I'm sure he'll know what he's going to do with him. But
what did you think about him in crowd at Forest then, Brad?
It's not the end of the world. I mean, if Billy Sharp, I don't know, is Brereton Diaz a Forest fan? I'm assuming he must be. But
yeah, I think he came through academy there, didn't he?
Yeah. So if Billy Sharp last year, if Billy Sharp wasn't with us, and he was at Hull a year early, and he came to us, we'd all sort of be saying, "Oh, it's Billy, it's fine, it's Billy, it's fine." So I think, given he's a fan, it's not like he's played there and he's supporting them because he's played there. It is genuinely just because it's his fan club, and if he was there every week,
that's similar to what Scott was saying. Yeah.
Then that's you can sort of think, well, why are you there every week? You're supposed to be with us. But if it's one off and he's injured and he wants to have a good time with maybe it was family or whatnot, then I mean, if he's a reoffender, then that's when it becomes a bit of a problem.
I get that, and that's fair, mate. And again, I'm never going to sort of push back on anybody having their own opinion, but I just think the optics look awful. We're in a relegation battle with them. We're trying to catch them, and he's in the crowd supporting them when he plays for us. It's not going to affect how he plays for us. I've no sort of concerns that he won't give his all for us or anything like that, because I think he will. And he's proven so far that when he's pulled shirt on, he's given everything he's got. But it's just a bad look for me personally. So, but I get that where I'll be cheering if Kyle Walker comes back, this season and stands in crowd with us, and same with Harry Maguire and Michael Brown and all these old players that come back and sort of cheer with us. So it's a little bit hypocritical, I suppose, in a way, to be fair.
Well, it's not hypocritical. It's just, it's where you are at the moment. I mean, they're not with us anymore. Like playing against it. They're not playing, like you sort of said, not a rivalry. There's no rivalry between us and Man City. So, Man City, like 90% of their fans probably don't care about us and still call us Sheffield. So it's...
Well, I'll give you an example. How would Burnley fans react if Sanderberg were injured and he came and he was spotted in away end for Sheffield United?
Yeah, they wouldn't go with that one, would they?
They wouldn't. And it's for me.
I don't think United fans would be, to be honest. I think he'd be getting.
True, very true. But for me, it's a similar. And I know he's a lone player, Brereton Diaz. But while he's with us, he's with us. So I just don't think it looks great. But I get what people are saying. I understand that, mate. Yeah. I understand that.
I mean, it's not ideal. But if he does it again, I think that's when people will start sort of.
So is that what you'd go with then, Brad? Would you go with the 3-5-2 and then potentially squeeze Brereton Diaz into that formation because of the way we played?
Well, being brutally honest, we didn't outplay Luton off the park by sheer, we didn't do anything particularly special. I thought that we played better against other teams and still lost. I think because it's Luton and they're dreadful. I think that's part of the reason why it looked so good on us. But I think you've got to stick with it for the fact that it's won.
No, I agree, mate. I agree.
Completely. I mean, to try and go from strength to strength, and then, I can't remember who it was earlier said, if it isn't working at half time, change it. Maybe then you go to a back four and bring Brereton Diaz on and do all the stuff. But while it's working, Wilder's a big fan of that, isn't he? Wilder's a big fan of what works.
Yeah, not afraid to make changes either. So
yeah,
be interesting to see.
It will be interesting come the end of the season. This is a different point in regarding to refereeing. If we don't stay up and Luton do by a gap of 6 points or less, words will have to be had with whoever ref does at the Bramall Lane fixture. Because if they want to go on about refereeing and that we shouldn't have had a penalty, The refereeing in the reverse fixture was atrocious, and they only equalised because of a corner that should have been a goal kick, and all
That's
this.
right.
So it will be.
Yeah,
that will be.
Yeah, I think there's a few. I think we're our own worst enemy a lot of the time as Blades, but in terms of our performances. But there's been so many nearly moments this season where either we've thrown it away or a bad decision's gone against us. That's the fine margins just have not worked for us this season, and that's why I think it's going to be maybe a bridge too far. But listen, Brad, I'm going to let you go, pal. Thank you very much for calling in. I just want to get our last caller on just before the end. So thank you. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, mate. See you in a bit. Connor, thank you so much, mate, for waiting. I've kept you waiting for a long time. I just wanted to make sure we got you on before we wrapped it up. So what do you want to talk about today? What do you want to talk about, mate?
So basically, I just want to give a good shout out to Wes. Thought he played really well. Obviously, he didn't have much to do with that, but in the times that he was called upon, I thought he did really well.
I like that. I like that we've got somebody, because you know my thoughts on it. So
yeah, I'm in the same boat really, but I thought he played outstanding.
Fair, outstanding.
I know that's going a bit too far, but I'll give him his credit.
I think that's fair. I think if it were Gerbic playing, then we'd all be saying what a great performance in terms of it wouldn't be picked out as being a weak link or anything like that, because I don't think he was a weak link at the weekend. No. Is that enough for him to keep his shirt? I spotted one stage where he dropped it. I think referee blew for something else, but he fumbled it and he dropped it, and I thought that he's not changed. But and he wasn't put under a lot of pressure, I didn't think, and that's credit the entire team for that. But other than that, I can't say he did anything particularly wrong or anything like that. So does he keep his shirt for you? I don't think he will. I think Gerbic will come in with what Wilder does. But if you're Wilder, do you keep him inside, Connor?
I don't know. I do believe Gerbic hasn't, had a lot to prove yet. Obviously, he's had to adapt to a new country, a new league, new teammates and stuff like that. So, I think he'll be chucked straight back in.
Okay. And now that we're talking about sort of individual performances, how did you think? What did you think to Mason Holgate, particularly? Do you have any strong opinions either way?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Billy said. I thought he played brilliant. I know it's only been 2 games, but he played brilliant.
I think he's fitting really well, and I think he's one of those that is a typical Wilder signing for me. And a lot of people have seen him as past his prime. And look, we've maybe got him when he's on the wane, but I think
it kind of reminds me of the Chris Morgan, like a big, pill house. But I think that's what we need. I think that's what we're lacking. Yeah,
I agree. Somebody with a bit of aggression, bit of grit. He's bigger than I thought he was. He's bigger than I remember him. He looked, I sort of pictured him as being a little bit more bulldog sort of stature than he's up there with like similar size to like a Nell from what I've seen. So it's a good bit of presence at the back, and I think he's done really well. I think he's done well.
Well, I like to say, I think all the team did well, really. It's a proper Sheffield United performance. I don't think we've seen that in quite a long time.
I agree, and that's all we ask for, innit, Con? It's not something that we don't expect to be going out and beating teams 3 or 4 every week. But as long as they're giving everything they've got for sure, we'll get respectfully beaten some weeks, and we won't mind. You're swapping Wes for Gerbic. Any more changes for the weekend?
I'm always of the mantra: if it's not broken, don't fix it. But I do believe, I agree with you. Wes is not a Premier League player. I think he'd be better off in the Championship on a loan. But I think Gerbic straight back in. Yeah.
What do you do at left wing back?
I'd probably put. I'd probably try Yasser. I'd probably give Yasser one out. Yeah. Obviously, he didn't do well at AFCON because he didn't come on. But in the games that he's played, I thought he's played brilliant as well. So.
Fair dues, he looks like he's improved a little bit from his difficult start to the season. No, that's a fair shout. Connor, thank you for joining us, pal. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for having me on.
Again soon. No
Thank
worries,
you.
Mate.
Thank you, Jim. Up the Ramble.
Up the Ramble. Top man. Cheers, pal. That is our last caller of the night. I'm just going to finish. Look at that. Look at this timing as it ticks over to 90 minutes. We've done it. we've done it and it's flown by, as it usually does. Scott disagrees with Billy because they always go back and forth. They've got a little bit of a lover's tiff, I think, in our WhatsApp group. Watch the Arblaster interview, says Man Mountain on SUTV. He's definitely signing. He's a blade, and I'd love to see him get some minutes. Me too. Just hope it would have been signed by now, by like Brooks. Yeah, there's been a bit of a delay on it, hasn't there? Been a little bit of a delay, which is a little bit concerning. Sarah says Billy was sat behind me in John Street, West Ham game. Love it. But we're in a different league to Hull, aren't we? We're not in the same stratosphere at the moment. We may well see him next season. If it's 15 million out to go all out to match that price, I don't know whether we are on a different wavelength to that, so I don't want to jump in on that. For those saying we didn't look particularly great, nobody tends to look good against Luton. Fair point, especially at their ground. They're that type of team. William says, all right, how you doing? I'm doing great, thank you, pal. Very good after 3 points. Hope you are too. If we can stay up this season, we've got to give this season the title The Great Blades Escape. Absolutely right. And Billy agrees. He'd be tempted to go with Yasser. Oh, you just flip-flop, don't you, Bill? You flip-flop with whatever people are saying. I love it. Right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Absolutely brilliant that. I've enjoyed our first 90 after 90. Hope you have too. Might be a concept that we stick with if people are liking what they see. Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please do like the video and subscribe to the Blade Ramble, because that's what it's about, isn't it? We're growing at all the time. I was delighted to see, thank you to Paul from PN UK, that we are the most viewed Sheffield United Blades channel for long-form content. Absolutely unbelievable and a little bit overwhelming, if I'm honest. So thank you to everybody that supports us. Very much appreciated. Come on, you red and white wizards. I'll be back with a warm-up, our new warm-up, a 30-minute match preview later in the week. Come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blade.